at the Water Tower Podcast. Guys, it is week 1 of the Texas high school football season. We kick things off here in our Bystone area, Limestone County, Freestone County area. We're joined today with the man himself, Scott Batts, the legend.
Wow, what an introduction. I'll be here more often if we get that.
There we go. Man, you probably heard his voice if you listened to any of the Mexia games, Wortham, Tig, Fairfield, whichever one games on 99.1. Man, Scott, we appreciate you being here and joining us as we're days away from from kickoff.
Yeah, we are, and thanks for inviting me. This is I'm not been a part of a podcast. At least I don't think I am. I'm not, the legal ones anyway. I don't know for sure, but anyway, it's good to be a part of it. And just talking football. I'm glad to share what little knowledge I might have. But it's going to be a fun year. Just days away from the NFL season, the college football season, high school, it all culminates on that Labor Day weekend. So it's an exciting time, and everybody's 0-0. So everybody's got their high hopes now until they get their hopes dashed after week 1, right?
Man, I think Scott's being a little humble, talking about little knowledge. Even before I met you, I used to listen to the games on Saturday mornings, and I always called you the football guru, and that's before I ever even met him. So,
well, now y'all call me something else. So I'm not really sure that it's arable, but I appreciate that either way.
Then he's got his own segment on Friday nights after the games they play.
I should have told you to bring a snapshot for us.
Well, I give you a few previews that we're going to do this year. The first one's going to be on the floods in Kerrville. It's going to be talking about for you guys that coach, and I'm so indebted to the guys that do that are flexible, that give me opportunities to showcase them. The Tom Moore coach, who went to his whiteboard with his coaching staff to draw up not football plays, but places on a map to go take hot meals to the flood victims and the first responders. So it's a really cool story. Texas football shared that story back late July. So we are, when we do that, we'll also showcase some coaches, some great players. I'll highlight the first All-American football player that was in Waco High back in the teens. So there's going to be some cool stories. I hope y'all like them. They're a little longer this year. I don't give Buzz and Brian a little bit more of a break on Friday night, but anyway. But I appreciate everybody that listens to those. Those are a lot of fun to do, and it's probably one of the better listened to things that I do. I don't know that anybody listens to me in anything else, but I do. I'm humbled and appreciative of those the opinions and the things that everybody says about those. They're really cool.
For sure they are. I mean, I try, especially on the way games, I try to tune in on the way back. Man, I really enjoy what y'all do over there. Just, previewing not just the Black Cats, but all our surrounding area teams. Man, it's good stuff.
Well, and it was let's bring it back home. It was an honor and a privilege to do a Black Cat sweep of the Westwood Panthers in basketball back in the spring. So there have been some fun times. We cover the Fairfield girls all the way to the Alamo Dome 5 out of the last 6 years. So there's been some fun times. A lot of good and cool memories, and it's the Mexias, Fairfields, Tigs, and Worthams that have brought those memories home.
For sure. Man, we're going to get in to previewing our local teams. Like I said, we got Mexia, Groesbeck, Tig, Fairfield, and Wortham. Like I said, we're days away, so we want to kind of just preview their season. As it gets started here, we'll start in Freestone County with Scott's Wortham Bulldogs.
Do I get to start this off?
Go ahead.
So
brother.
This is Chad Coker's 8th season for the Bulldogs, and I'm gonna be real honest with you guys. Probably his most challenging year that he's gonna have since he's been here. We've talked about this off air a lot. You don't replace 14 seniors on a team that went 2-0 and and you hand out hundreds of school records that they set for their offense and their takeaways and things like that they did, and expect that team just to jump into a scrimmage and perform well. They really struggled against Italy. They struggled against Normandy, a team that they should have matched up really well against. Defensively, they fly to the ball real well. Sometimes they just don't make the tackle to get them on the ground. They're pretty light in the offensive line. Will they figure it out? Yes, I do think so, because they're athletically they're gifted enough to do that. But with the schedule that they've got, they're playing two D1 schools earlier, Division I schools in Rio and Valley Mills. Then they get Leon, and then they jump right into a district that only has Bremont, Martin, and Goldthwaite in it. So right now, I think that you're fighting for fourth even before you even take the field. When we see what these teams are going to be able to do, I just think that this is a team that will struggle. I hope that they do well, since that's where I call my graduation home. But I do think that it's realistically, it's a team that's going to have a long year.
Yeah, I mean, I got to go with you last year when they traveled to Bremont. His name slips my mind, the running back.
Travis Scott.
No, for Wortham.
Oh, for Wortham. Oh, well,
Yeah.
Yancey Bean, Kamani Johnson.
Yeah. So, those guys, as electrifying as they were.
Absolutely.
Who are some guys that you think are able to step up into those roles?
And this year there was a little bit of a quarterback battle between Cross Montgomery, who was a freshman last year, threw a touchdown pass against Clarksville in the playoff game, and also between Trenton and Cawthorn, who was kind of on again, off again, injured for this Bulldog team last year. Really good receiver for them. And then they will return Evan McCausland, who's the leading rusher from last year that returns. And he had about 300 yards. He's going to be the feature back. I think speed's going to be an issue for this team, and they return a freshman offensive lineman who's a sophomore, Blake Haddon, who returns to the offensive set. They're going to be really quick across the defensive front, but they will be absolutely tiny across the defensive front. Italy and Normandy in the two scrimmages there was a definite mismatch there in the trenches for those two teams. But I think that this Bulldog team has an opportunity. I think you're going to see some things out of Jaden King, who comes back as a receiver for this team. Josh Donaldson, who was one of the leading tacklers, and he may be a $130 if he's anything, but he's a lot broader this year. Spent a lot of time in the weight room, so he will see some time in that Bulldog running back tandem as well. Not so sure that this team's going to be able to throw the ball very much. It's going to be a whole new batch of receivers, but I think that they can get the job done once they kind of figure it out. I was talking to Coach Coker after the scrimmage Thursday, and I said, and he was a little bit discouraged about how everything was going the first two scrimmages. I said, you just think about the varsity talent that left last year. These guys have 2 sets of 15 twice and 2 live quarters. That's their varsity experience. You have not run a single clock play for Wortham yet to see what they're able to do, and Friday night's going to be it.
You look at it, one returning starter on offense, 3 on defense at a 2A, like that's, that stuff. Is this Wortham team one of those teams that you want to get through this year, gain experience, compete, and then next year could be really exciting? Or is it's one of those, like, it's a rebuild for a year or two type situation?
It could be a rebuild, and I think that they're going to figure it out, because I still think, and this is not just me, the Wortham and me talking, I still think they will contend for a playoff spot.
Right.
For the simple reason that Frost, Meridian, and Hubbard are in the district. Those three at the bottom, and then you've got Goldthwaite, Bremont, and Mart at the top, and then the winner of the Chilton Wortham game is going to be fourth. Now, which Chilton team are you going to get? I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
UAL is going to make that determination. They had the best JV running back in the state because they couldn't get him eligible for a movie, and now he's probably going to be eligible.
Yeah.
That's going to make that a very tough road test for the Bulldogs when they go to Chilton, and that's a team that they beat 52-3 last year.
Yeah.
So I think it's a rebuild for a year, and I don't think we would be remiss if we didn't mention the fact that it's a realignment year too.
Yeah.
You don't really know what you're going to get. You certainly don't want, I think that Wortham and Mart will be tied together for a long time. So you've got to figure out either how to play with them and beat them, or you're going to have a long year with them.
Right. I got you.
Yeah, you just look at the district, just pulling from Dave Campbell's Texas Football, they have Bremont, Mart, Galway, Chilton, then Wortham at 5th, followed by Frostbury and Hubbard. Man, is that kind of how you see it playing out? I know you said, it'll be between Wortham and Chilton for that 4th spot, but, is there anything you kind of disagree with?
I disagree with Dave Campbell's Texas football completely. I don't think. I think that the district championship game is going to be Bremont and Goldthwaite, and I think that was a sophomore tandem, sophomore junior, two guys, 240 pounds, maybe a little lighter than that, just pound the ball. And this is a Goldthwaite team that beat Mart 46-0 in the regular season finale. I just don't think that you can shy away from them and stick them in the 3 spot.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
And Mart's bringing in a new coach.
They are, and I think they're going to be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's some big boys running the football that year right there.
And so, I think Bremont, with all the Scott kids returning, Tank and all of those guys that are now juniors, I think they're going to be a force to contend with. Mm-hmm. I think that Goldthwaite, with the returning tandem of the 2 running backs and the quarterback that they have, is going to be better than a sophomore quarterback who is Seth Kasowski, the coach's son. He struggled a little bit in the passing game, and I think that inexperience is what gives the Goldthwaite Eagles a chance to win the district.
For sure. I think they beat Mart, what was it, 44?
46-0.
46-0 last year. Like, that still just blows my mind. I'm like,
I still want to try to find that film. I haven't found it. I don't know. To me, it's an enigma. I don't know what happened, but I would love to know how that happened. But you guys mentioned it as well. Mart with a new coaching staff, and I don't know that he leaves a 4A program to come to Mart if he didn't think that there was going to be a chance for them to win. So a rebuild, and I'm going to steal Wes's term now. I think a rebuild is in place for Mart.
Yeah.
And I think that rebuild happens almost like one of those prefab houses that you can put up in about 30 minutes. That's the Mart rebuild sometimes.
Yeah, I was just looking to ask, are we talking a real rebuild, or are we talking like a Mart, they're still going to win like 7 games rebuild?
Well, Mart only made it to the 3rd round this year.
Yeah.
They had a down year, so.
Well, this is a Mart team, and I think I did something. It may have been, it showed up in a snapshot a couple of years ago. When they didn't make the playoffs, and I look back, and it was 2001 that Mart didn't make the playoffs, and I'm going, does anybody remember that?
Yeah.
I don't remember a Mart team not being in a postseason. Right. I just don't. But apparently, they must have happened.
I look at Mart, and I've mentioned to you, like Coach Lancaster, everywhere he's been, like, he's done really, really well. Like, he turned Academy into a power there for a minute. Like, they were going to a regional final for like 3 straight years. I think, he was at Robinson, turned that program, got it back to, where it used to be. So, like, now he takes over a 2A power that's had success. I'm really eager to see how he does there.
And Mart's not one of those that they're not. If they are down, if we call what we call down, it's not long.
No,
like they don't. And we say rebuild, they just reload. So it might be a team every a few years that are just have their number or get them, but them dudes, you can pencil them in regionals pretty much every year. They breed football players down there. So
what's a down year for them? What, 8-4?
8-4, 3rd round. We do that. We had us a year. Hey.
Well, and I don't think we should go any without saying too that this is a Bulldog team last year that really stumbled out of the playoffs. When you lose on the last 3 seconds to a team that's thrown the ball 10 times all year on a 70-yard touchdown pass, and Coach Harrison can probably speak to that way better. You stay in a cloud for a week or so after those kind of games, and of course I talked to Coach Coker and I saw the play on every social media, and he goes, you think that kid's going to drop it at some point or another, and he never did. Yeah. But a couple of things I wanted to focus on for you guys, and I don't know if y'all want to do this here. Just some big games in 10-2A Division II, where I do think that those are going to be weeks to watch. Bremont and Goldthwaite will play in Goldthwaite on October the 17th. I think that's a huge night. That's a huge night for football for them. And then Mart is going to get Bremont on September the 26th. You decide real quick whether or not the Mart Panthers are going to be a contender at that point. That is the district opener. After the bye week, they play at Maypearl and at Riesel, and then they're off on the 19th. They open open up in Bremont. That's, to me, is a big, big night.
Yeah, you're coming out the gate running.
Absolutely.
So that district will find out, like you said, they'll find out quick who's the big dog, so.
Yeah, you gotta find your, I guess, mojo really quick. As
Yeah.
Like you said, district starts in week 4, because it's a big 8-team district, so you gotta get in the groove really, really fast. Just shifting back to Wortham, looking at their schedule for this year, they open up at Valley Mills, they get Rio Vista, then they're on the road at Leon, Frost, back home against Bremont, then they're at Meridian, at home against Goldthwaite, and then at Chilton, and then close out the regular season at home against Hubbard. Man, are there any games on there that you're excited to see, or that stick out to you?
Well, this Thursday, I'm going back to Hamilton to watch Frost and Winters. I mean, you've got to go to Ice Bowl too. I mean, that was it was a big Frost win last year. It is so stinking far away to Hamilton. I didn't get there at kickoff, and I left right after school. So it was a long haul and a long night, but it was pretty cool though. But here's the other thing that I think we should mention. And Coach Harrison, I would like to think what you think here is everybody knows about Mart. Everybody knows about Bremont. Everybody knows about Wortham. Of course, Wortham knows about Frost, Hubbard, and all those. The intangible when realignment showed up was Goldthwaite coming into this district. And I'm going, okay, they play at Junction, Center Point, and San Saba. Now, those are 3 teams that just roll off the tongue of everybody around here, right? We all know about the Armadillos, the Eagles, and Center Point, don't we? So, yeah, I mean, to me, that is a very difficult way to figure out what they do since they're so far away.
I've heard a lot about San Saba. Sure.
Yeah,
I have too.
The rest of
Yeah.
y'all have.
you've worked in Mahia ISD, you've heard about Sunset.
Yeah. When you say his name, he might show up, so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
But like you said, Chilton is definitely the game that's probably circled on your schedule for Wortham. Like, that's probably going to decide, are you in or are you out? But are there any games that, obviously, Hubbard's a must-win, Meridian's a must-win, Frost?
Oh, no question. Absolutely. Those are all. If you drop any one of those, your chances of a playoff spot are gone. You've got to win those, and you've got to put yourself in a position. You're looking at the way Wortham's schedule shapes up, they get Frost, and then they host Bremont on the week everybody else is off, and then they go to Mart and then Meridian. That Meridian game is almost a trip-up game for me because you've already got a chance, and this is a Mart team that Wortham hadn't beat since 1927. I mean, they didn't play a long time, but I mean, they've lost 8 or 9 straight to the Panthers, including that one in the playoffs here in Mahia. But you do that, and then you go, and that Meridian could be a trap game, and that's one of those that you've got to win. But you've got the 2 top teams that are sandwiched in that Oreo cookie there with Meridian in the middle. I think that's probably the most concerning 3-week stretch for Wortham that I've seen so far. And I don't know, that's just kind of me thinking, and nobody's played a game yet, but just studying and looking at the schedule, I think that's a real challenge for the Bulldogs.
It's and getting to it. You got to beat Meridian. It falls between Mart and Goldthwaite, but then you want to get out of the Goldthwaite game, and you got to beat Chilton to get in, pretty much.
Pretty much.
So that's really Mart, Meridian, Goldthwaite, then Chilton. That's pretty much, as long as y'all handle business against Meridian, Chilton's going to decide it.
And then if Chilton plays well against Goldthwaite, because they play early, that's Goldthwaite's season, it's district opener.
Yeah.
So when you look at that one, if they play well enough and it's a close ball game, you're almost determining the 4 right then.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to squelch any Bulldog fans at all. I don't want to do that, but I want them to be 10-0 every year. But I'm a realist too.
Yeah.
You have to look at this realistically. You've got a very young squad that's going to have to go take some knocks, and you got to make sure that you get out of those first 3 injury free. Yeah. And that's including a very bulky, powerful Leon team that you're going to get right before the district opener. Yeah. And that's a team where they've kind of had to bang around with those guys the last couple of years, and they got them pretty easily last year. But that's a Leon team that's going to be better improved because they were also young. Yeah. And then you go into the open break, and the open week, guys. What is it? Is it a week to heal up? or a week to get ready for district play.
Right.
And if you have to look at it one way or the other, that's going to be a problem.
For sure. So Wortham opens up their season on August 29th at home against Valley Mills. We'll pick that game here at the end to get our thoughts on that game specifically. We'll shift now.
Oh, by the way, there was one more thing I wanted you guys, I don't know if y'all watched the schedules. You know, I did this just to mess with y'all, okay? If you look at 13-2A Division 2, Division 1, if you look at Thorndale's schedule, all right, when we get finished here, y'all go look at Thorndale's schedule. There's an anomaly in Thorndale's schedule, and I know nobody else cares about it but me, but one of their non-district games is Gordon.
Oh, they're playing two 11-man games
Gordon's
this year.
playing two 11-man games to fill up their schedule as the 6-man state finalist, semifinalist every year. So there's going to be folks going to Gordon that day going, there's way too many people on this field. Okay? I just want y'all to know, we're counting them up. There's a flag right off the start because there's too many people. How weird is that to play a 6-man school going, and guys, they're going to beat Thorndale. It may be on the prediction sheet to be named later, but they're going to beat Thorndale.
Did Gordon bring those two dudes back that were?
Yeah.
Yeah, they might beat them. They might beat them.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to sway y'all. I thought y'all would appreciate that.
So now we shift to District 9, 3A, Division 1, still in Freestone County, the Fairfield Eagles. Man, they return a lot. 28 Letterman come back. They got 7 on offense, 8 on defense that return from a 7-5 area finalist, and finished 3-2 in district. I think they got, second in district last year?
They did.
So, a lot of stuff, a lot of guys coming back for this Eagles team. Man, I think Cole Collins and Finn Smith, I mean, those are two dudes. I mean, that combo together, I mean, it's lethal on the field. I mean, what are y'all thoughts about this Fairfield Eagles squad?
Mine was that the kid could spin it last year when they played us. There was a timing thing, I think. And I think after that Buffalo scare, they kind of figured it out.
Yeah.
And went on a little run. That, you know, if you look at you're just looking at what they brought back, they have great size. They're always physical. They're going to play hard. Bechtel's done a great job over there. You know, I picked it a show or two ago as my, what you call it?
Bold prediction.
Yeah.
I predict them to win that district. You know, everybody's high on Westwood and the Bryant
That's pretty
kid.
bold.
And,
Yeah.
and they should be, because he's a dude. But I think Fairfield, top to bottom, after watching Westwood play a team that's Fairfield's not Franklin. That's not what I'm saying. But they play a Franklin style of physical football on the defensive side, and they'll be able to get after Brian a little bit. And they're athletic enough to cover those young receivers that Westwood has. I think they're going to win the district. I really do. And, you know, we'll get a good look at them in a couple weeks. But like the Collins kid, he passes the eye test as your prototypical quarterback. The Finn Smith kid is dynamic. They have a safety back there. I'm going to assume it's the Kevion Hicks kid. He looks really good. So, you know, we'll see. Like I said, we get them in a couple weeks. We'll see what they look like. But, yeah, I think that team's going to win district, man.
Well, and just looking at what Fairfield does, and, you know, I mean, I think that Collins to Finn Smith is probably one of the, and I'm not taking anything away from Westwood, who we'll see this week on our part, and you guys will see them as well on Friday night. But I think that is probably one of the most lethal duos in Central Texas. I mean, they find each other really quick, and here's the thing. Now, y'all can agree to disagree. I mean, we've done it before, so I mean, I'm used to that. But I think that Fairfield started out last year as going, okay, we're going to try to establish the run first, and then they found out Cole Collins could really chunk it downfield and had a couple of guys that could catch it.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, okay, now Fairfield's a passing team. So yeah, and then started lighting the board up through the passing game with some just unbelievable stat lines for Cole Collins, and then some even equally ones. You know, they will lose Cal Wilson off that team last year. I think he was I mean, and just for lack of a better comparison, as we get ready to start the NFL season, that CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens is what Wilson and Smith were.
Yeah.
You know, they were so good together athletically. You've got to find somebody that's just as skilled as Finn Smith as Kyle Wilson was, because they were both very, very good at that. I still think they're running back by committee. I don't know that they've got a bona fide running back that's going to say, give me the ball when it comes time to get a first down. But I think they're going to be a tremendous passing team. Cole Collins is already heralded as one of the best punters in the state. But I'm going, how many times do you want this kid to punt?
Yeah.
I thought that was rather humorous when I saw that on a preseason all-state team. I'm going, yeah. I mean, I'm hoping he's an all-state punter and he punts it 9 times. That's what Coach Bechtel's hoping for. But yeah, I do think that when you look at what this team is, my question is, guys, and answer this for me, is how good can they be defensively? I think that's where they lacked a little bit. They did give up a bunch of points. They played in a lot of shootout games. They had the shootout game against McGregor. On a night where they had to really hang on and beat Buffalo, you guys have already mentioned that. They did have a shootout with Westwood. Those are going to be games that are going to be high scoring, really games. There's going to be times when they really play well defensively that's going to put them in that top spot you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I think they're going to be pretty good. Like Scott said, last year when we played them, they were really trying to get the run game going, and they let Collins throw it a few times, and he just wasn't. I don't know. Like Wes said, maybe it was timing, but it just seemed a little off. But you saw the kid throw, and you were like, whoa, like
Yeah, he could spin it.
Yeah, like hey, this kid can throw. Like maybe he might be off tonight, but this dude can throw. And you like I said, you started seeing it after they played us. They started lighting it up together, and just one thing with them, you look on this paper, they've got 7 on offense coming back, 8 on defense coming back. Well, they had a JV last year that went undefeated, so
Good point.
that's
absolutely
that's something right there, to look out for. How many of those kids from that team are going to be added on to those players coming back, and maybe not step in and be starters, but just depth players to really come in and help a team out that they really got hot as the season went on. And man, I don't know. I feel like they're going to be really good. I'm excited to see them in a couple weeks when we play them. I think that'll be a really good test for us. Really back-to-back weeks, Westwood and Fairfield. But it's a team. I think they're going to be really good. As far as Wes's bold prediction, I wouldn't be surprised if they did it, but I don't know. As of right now, I still just can't see them, taking the top spot out of the district over Westwood. But like I said, I definitely wouldn't be surprised. There's going to be a good Fairfield team.
Well, to me, look at some of the numbers, guys. When was the last time, let's count on both hands, how many 3,500-yard passers we've seen at Fairfield High School? Okay, we're done. We're done counting them. We're finished.
And the thing about it, he didn't start spinning it like that till
Absolutely correct.
half the season.
So
We didn't start seeing lighting the scoreboard up until probably maybe that McGregor game we saw first.
I mean, he did most of his damage in the second half of the
Absolutely.
season in the district. So,
you're
I mean,
saying 6 games and 2 playoff games?
yeah.
Correct.
So 8 games?
And he probably threw for 1,900 yards in district play alone. I mean, and it may have been more than that. I didn't tally that up, but my goodness,
Right.
the kid can really put this offense on his shoulders, and throws a beautiful deep ball. There's not very many kids that can throw it deep and hit a receiver and chunk it in the bucket like he did, and he really did a good job of that.
And he can run it a little bit.
Can run it a little bit, yes.
That's-
He's a bigger kid.
Yeah.
Shoot, they got him listed 6'3" here.
He's every bit of it.
I wouldn't be surprised if the offers start piling in a little bit. I don't know about D1 or anything like that, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of schools after.
He throws a Division I football.
He does,
whether
honestly.
The other stuff and all that stuff that factors into getting D1 offers. but he throws a D1
Yeah,
ball.
yeah,
It gets to where it needs to go quickly.
Yeah, he, like you said, he passes the eye test.
Yeah.
You know, size, the ball that he throws, the spiral.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's a real good looking kid. I don't know if he already has any offers right now, but I bet halfway through the season, man, they're going to start piling in for that kid.
Well, and he's a multi-sport athlete too. He's him, and you were talking about Kavion Hicks, Madden McElroy, all of those guys are on, and Connor Colvert all play basketball as well now.
Track and baseball for Collins as well.
Absolutely, and y'all know as well as I do, those multi-sport stars are going to get you some mileage down the line. I mean, we've seen that here in Mejia for years of those guys that have ATH after their name, not just football player, and can really get after it. He was a great post player for them last year, and a little mismatched when it became those post players that were a little bit more athletic, but he's just a solid performer.
Yeah.
Saw him with the 2020 game, a game, his coming out party at Westwood last year at a 2020 ball game over there, a game that they lost the lead in the fourth quarter of that one. But so they have those shines of being really, really talented. But and I don't know if you're heading this way, Landry, but looking at their schedule, they have two of the first three on the road. They go to Mejia. That's not really a road game, is it? I mean, it's 20 miles. So, but anyway, they go to Brownsboro to take on a real pesky Brownsboro team and get to me, a virtually unknown Maypearl team. We'll talk about them once we get into the district here. But, taking on local teams and everything like that, Fairfield's schedule puts them in a spot where they could easily be 5-0 heading in to that open date, which is a game against Teague on the road.
And that'll be a one to go watch for sure. Like I said, I'm and the Collins kids had a summer to get better, to get bigger,
Absolutely.
to get faster. So I'm excited. Like our first 2 weeks, we're going to play two really good quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to see where we're at, our secondary. How well we can play and match up against that. That's going to be very exciting. But Fairfield has a great chance of making a solid run this year, I believe, like I said. And I'm going to stick with it. I think they're going to win that district. I really do.
The prediction right now is obviously you have Westwood number 1, Fairfield 2, Diboll 3, followed by Teague at 4, and then Crockett and Huntington to round out the district. Diboll, to me, they're always going to be that, ground and pound, hard-nosed football team that, they're always going to be tough. Regardless if they're up or down that year, they're going to be a tough team to beat. But like I said, I think, I'm with you. I think Fairfield has a really, really good shot. Just after seeing Westwood, I think Fairfield has a good shot of winning the district.
Well, and I don't agree with Texas football either, because I haven't in a while, by the way. I had Teague third. I think Teague is going to be better. We'll talk about them in a little bit, but I don't think that we can overlook what one of the schools in the district is having to go through. Westwood has had a lot of distractions over the last calendar year, and Wes's bold prediction could come to fruition if those distractions have cost that Westwood team some preparation time. Now, there's opinions floating. I've got them, and I don't necessarily want to share all of them with what I think should have happened to Westwood. They did what was best for the kids, but at some point or another, those distractions are going to have to pay reverse dividends instead of positive dividends for the Panthers, and that could be the gap that the Fairfield Eagles need to win a district.
Yeah, for sure. Just everything I've heard, I think Crockett's a team that's kind of on the rise. They have
I heard good things about them.
They have a good young class coming in, so that's a team that we'll have to look out for. That could compete for that fourth spot in District 9.
And before we leave Fairfield, Landry, Coach Harrison, let's talk a Huntington team that has not been to the playoffs, but I think one time since President Lincoln was in office. It has been a while. But that program's been taken over by a former Wortham coach, who's the basketball coach, Brian Kaufman, and I hope he turns that program around. They were to me, quite honestly, fighting with a short stick last year. It really struggled. And with them playing at home against Westwood in week 11 does not bode well for them. That's a long night for the Huntington Red Devils. But I do hope that they get better. And I hope that this district is better because we want Teague and Fairfield to be competitive and be playoff tested before they go to the postseason.
For sure. I mean, that's always kind of a concern. I think it helps it being a little top-heavy in the district because you still got those really good, like you're still seeing Westwood, you're still seeing Diboll.
True.
But it kind of goes back to our old district, we had Kemp and Eustis in there. Like, they weren't necessarily, just a good test for us to get us prepared for the playoffs. So.
Well, and of course, even going back one more realignment from ahead too, when you mentioned that, when they had Van and those teams where everybody was hollering about UAL having to go so far away, but I think those battle tested those teams to make them more successful, and I think Westwood is certainly the prime one to get a Teague and Fairfield team ready for the postseason.
Yeah, for sure. So now we go back west on 84 to Teague, Texas, where they bring back quite a bit on their team, returning 6 on offense and 8 on defense from an 8-4 area finalist team and finishing 3-2 in district. Man, I think they got the biggest question mark for them. Obviously, it'll be quarterback. You got to replace Leha. That's been a 3-year starter. 3-year starter for them. To me, the biggest loss for them was Corey Seiler, which, to me, he was just a dude, both on defense, offense, wherever they put him. That's their biggest loss, and, of course,
Jacobrin Harris.
Jacobrin. And you lose a guy like that receiver, running back, punt returner, kick returner. I think he had however many returns for touchdowns last year. But you lose a guy like that, those 3 guys, you got to find someone to replace him.
But they have a guy. Nyland Coaster is probably going to be one of their focal guys. He's definitely been one of their guys, and I think he's going to take the reins. I don't know how much he can factor in the total offensive package. Are they going to try to give it to him 35 times a game to get him ready? But he's a tough, hard-nosed kid. And I think having to replace a 3-year starter and having to replace 2 or 3 receivers, I see on the list, and I didn't prepare as much as I probably should have on Teague, but they do have Braden Gant and Jaden Cole returning, and also Bryce Bates. Bryce Bates had a really nice year for them last year. He was kind of on again, off again with the injury bug biting him. But some of those guys stepping in there and stepping in and stepping up is what some of them are going to have to do. You've got to replace those holes, and you've got to replace them quickly. And the schedule doesn't favor that real quick for the old Teague Lions either. You got to take your hat off to Coach Linscomb, Coach Now, and Coach Bechtel, because they say, you know what, we don't mind. Bring it on. We got you. Let's go play.
I think Teague will be fine. The early growing pains, like you said.
Agreed.
Jaden Brown will be eligible this year to play for them. He'll help them a lot. He's an athletic, dynamic kid. Jaden Cole's going to stuff the middle. He is probably, if not the best, he's top 3 best linebacker in Central Texas. They got to figure the quarterback thing out, but they're always going to be physical. They're always going to be tough. They're going to be good up front. So they're going to cause havoc for O-lines and D-lines. So the Coaster kid was a good-looking kid last year. He'll get the full range this year. They could throw Cole back there to run it some.
Absolutely.
And I expect them to get Jaden Brown active in quick passing game and stuff like that. I think by the time they get to district, they could you don't show up to play against them on a Friday night, they'll pop you. They have the ability, and I'm with you. I think they'll get 3rd in district as well.
I think one of the biggest concerns, and I know I'm asking you guys way more questions than y'all would be asking me, because I want to hear what y'all got to say too. I think their biggest concern is going to be whether or not they're going to have a lot of 2-way guys.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me is the biggest question for Coach Linscomb and his staff. How many of those guys are you going to ask to play both sides of the ball and play it at a high level against teams that are going to be sitting in the same place? They're going to go tackle a Ferris team that's huge. Y'all know that.
Yeah.
Mahia has seen Ferris. They're going to take on a Toller team on the road. They're going to go a long way in a game that they lost at the buzzer last year in a field goal. So, you're taking on those teams, and they're going to get a really pesky Bullard team in non-district play. All of those teams are non-district, and you're having to say, okay, I know my quarterback's talented enough to get it done, but am I going to have to depend on him to be a safety as well?
Right.
Am I going to have to depend on Nyland Coaster and Jaden Cole to be the linebackers? How much punishment are they going to take on the defensive side of the ball? And that means the offense is going to suffer. I think that's a question that they're going to need to answer.
And Linscomb does a great job. Those guys, I mean, those kids are
Absolutely.
tough, but I think the injury bugs kind of hampered them a little bit the last couple of years. So, you want to try to build some depth as much as possible, but at the end of the day, you're trying to win games. So it's like you said, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with those guys.
Here lately, when it comes to TIG football, you had the Austin Skinner era, you had the Mikael Shepard. They would go out there in that era and they could out athlete you at spots. They were fast. Here the last few years, man, it kind of shifted to where they still have some athletes, but man, when I think of TIG football, I just think of a tough team to deal with. Like they want to be physical with you. They want to make you tap out of the game. Like like you said, they don't back down to anybody. It doesn't matter if they think they're going to be good or if they're just a team. They're going to show up. They're going to play. They're going to be a tough team to deal with.
Excuses.
It's kind of been a fun. We talked a few episodes ago. TIG wasn't really like just Maya's biggest rival. There for a few years, but here lately, man, the last 7-10 years, man, they've had some good games. There's been some overtime games. There's been one score games. Man, TIG, I don't know. I think, once they get to district, they'll be fine. They'll have a little bit of it figured out. Will they be able to, get past Fairfield or Westwood to get maybe that 1 or 2 spot? I don't know. But, if they did,
They'll be in the game.
Yeah, it wouldn't totally surprise me because, like I said, man, you might be more athletic than them, but man, can you match the physicality and can you do it for 4 quarters with them?
Well, what I think is cool about this, and I get the luxury of getting to know a lot of coaches across the area. I know that there's a coaching brotherhood that I can't seem to work my way in, but they seem to harass me, and I like that. But it seems to me that what's cool about TIG, and more so than Fairfield, and even more so than Mahia, is that this team takes on the identity of the coaching staff.
Yeah.
I mean, they're bring your lunch pail, get to work, and I'm not saying that the others don't do that. It's just that it most resembles, if you talk to Coach Linscomb and you see his team play, you go, those two personalities go right together.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes that TIG program cool, and that's what makes them competitive and hard to beat. Any team is going to be hard if you leave them in the ball game, but even if you get a lead on TIG, they're able to come back and because they don't stop what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it cool for them.
And just, and that's exactly, I've never met him personally, but talking to the couple of guys that we're friends with, the coach over there, like that's exactly how they explain him. He is tough-nosed, bring your lunch pail every day.
Absolutely.
And for 4 quarters, you're going to fill us.
Yeah.
The score might not end how we want it to, but you're going to leave that game knowing, all right, you were just in a fist fight.
Yeah,
I think, was it his, you can probably tell, was it his first year or second year where they kind of gave Malakoff a scare?
They did, absolutely. Yeah, that was his first year there. That was last year.
And, I think from that moment on, we kind of knew, hey, Coach Linscomb, man, he's going to bring TIG back to where they were, like like Leo said, in that Austin Skinner area, in that Shepherd era, where they were competitive.
The kids talking with our guys, and the kids really like that guy. And they know, and they know that he cares about them. And when you get that,
oh, no doubt,
kids will run through a brick wall for you. So yeah, it's going to be TIG. I think TIG is the most interesting team of our area this year.
Yeah, I agree.
They could they could potentially, if they stay healthy and some guys pop,
Agreed.
they could shake that district up over there for sure. They are the toughest team in this area. Like they're the team you don't want to fight down a back alley.
Yeah.
You're going to fight them all night. You might be whooping them, but they're not stopping. They are coming at you. So I'm interested to see them, man.
I give you a little insight to Coach Linscomb's personality. When he and I were setting up the schedule for when we do our broadcast games, I did inform him that the first year of the realignment, we would not be going to Huntington.
Yeah.
Which is in western Louisiana, practically. And so he said, "You mean you're not going to Huntington?" And I said, "No." So when he sent me his schedule and his roster during the realignment year, he also sent me the best places to go hunt alligator in East Texas. So I mean that's kind of the way they operate. That's kind of how they treat me. But it was a funny gag, and I appreciate them doing that because we weren't going to go to Huntington with Fairfield or Teague last year.
I would barely want to go through my head. So, I can get that for sure. Sometimes I question the UIL. Like us, Fairfield and Teague, we're all 20 minutes apart max. Yeah, we're not even in the same district. We're not in the same region.
They're not even in the same region.
We could literally play for a state championship, and we're right down the street.
Man, that's up my transition.
My bad. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're good.
You go ahead. See, we didn't rehearse it.
We're winging it.
Wouldn't be the first time something like that happened.
Don't try this at
Carthage
home.
and Kilgore play each other for a state championship.
They did.
The year
Fairfield went.
I think Carthage.
The year Fairfield was in.
Carthage was Region 2, Kilgore was Region 3, and they made the state title game.
And then realigned in the same district the next
The
year.
next year, all right, UIL.
Yeah, the good old UIL.
Hey, sorry we stepped on you there, Harrison, because we didn't. I didn't know that was in the script. I'm sorry.
We're good.
We'll get ESPN in here next week
That's
to
it.
get us
Get us straight.
I just want to touch on TIG one last time and just looking at their schedule. Got New Waverly. Like you said, they go to Toller.
They said they're flying out there.
They should. Because it's
Good call. That's it.
They host Ferris, then they come to Black Cat Field on the 19th. Then they go host Bullard, and they start district play at home against Fairfield. Always a good game between them two. Then they're at Crockett. They host Westwood and Huntington, and they close out the regular season at Diboll.
So they get the two top dogs at home too.
Yeah.
And early.
Yeah. So I mean, I think they're going to be a lot like us. Like they got to stay healthy.
No question.
And man, they could if they're healthy and those guys are like they have a couple guys pop and stay healthy. Yeah, they could.
They're always a weird team to me, though. It's like the last couple of years, they've always had a few kids get hurt early.
Yeah.
They come right back with maybe a week, 2-3 weeks left in the season.
Yeah.
And they get rolling again.
Yep.
They're really weird when it comes to that.
Now, I want to ask you guys this. This is my little limited preparation for today's podcast, but I want to throw you off for a loop. If you're in week 10 or 11 out of District 9 3A, who are you only get 2 shots here. Who are the last 2 teams you want to meet in 10 and 11 to hope to get in the playoffs?
I don't want to play Teague.
I think Teague is the most dangerous team to play. And that's where I'm getting at. I think they're the most likely team I would not want to face if I knew I had to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, for me it'd be Teague first, and I think I'd go Fairfield are the 2 that I would not want to see if my playoff chances.
Especially if me and Teague are playing each other to get in. Teague's gonna bring everything they got.
And you guys sit in the locker room and talk those things out. You go, it's positioning where you play folks, which determines your success or failure too, doesn't it?
For sure it does, especially with this district, because one spot could be the difference between meeting up with Columbus or Hitchcock or whoever else is in that district.
No doubt, or hitting your own district mate again. You finish 4th, you hit that champion real quick.
Yeah,
for sure. But Teague, Fairfield, we'll see how that district pans out. Really exciting district, especially with Westwood, Fairfield, Diboll, and Teague. But now we go to, like Wes already said, not only 20 minutes down the road, but to a whole new region, and that's Region 2. District 5 3A will start with the dudes across the river, the Groves Bay Goats, under new coach Nelson Cordes. They bring back 5 on offense, 5 on defense from a 4-6 squad. Last year, 0-5 in district. I think we'll just go ahead and say their biggest loss wasn't even a senior in Jordan Smith, which he made his way to Waxahachie. Big shoes they got to fill there, but also the biggest loss they had was the quarterback. His name slips my mind.
Platt.
Trent Platt.
Trent Platt.
Losing him to me, I mean, he's what, 2.5-year starter?
Yeah,
At
absolutely.
least, yeah, at
He
least.
was a football player.
Football, tough.
He was tough, yeah.
Man, like it, real tough to play. But to me, losing those 2 dudes, jump off really quick. They lost some dudes up front. I know they had one move to Mart. I think that was their biggest lineman they
One of
had.
their best linemen, yeah.
He moved to Mart. But so Cordes has his work cut out for him in his first year with the Goats. What are y'all thoughts on this team?
For starters, if I've got I live in Freestone County, so do I get credit and gas money for crossing into a different region? Just checking. I mean, I just want to make sure I'm set up when I leave here.
I think I had to ask UIL about that.
Oh, okay, we'll petition UIL for that. No, I would. There are 3 teams that I thought would struggle really mightily this year, just coming back. And, we had already mentioned Wortham. I think they were going to struggle. Buffalo was another one I felt was going to struggle, but it looks like they're starting to show signs of getting better. The other one was Groesbeck. I think that coming off of a program last year that, during a realignment year, a team that went 0-10. Let's see, did they go 0-10? Let's see. What did they do last year?
Who, Groesbeck?
4-6. They were 4-6 last year.
0-5.
But they lost all 5 district games. So starting out 4-1 in their non-district schedule and then dropping the last 5, I think it pushed Coach Bomar to retirement, and not that he wasn't going to retire anyway. That's a program. He's been so successful there, but I do think that he left a good, solid program. I'm just not sure what personnel he's got to fill it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I mean, you've got to put bodies in there that are going to step in there and play. With Jordan leaving to go to someplace else, there's just not a lot of big name guys that have a lot of varsity experience that are going to fill those gaps. And I think the gaps are too big for them to fill, for them to have a real successful early going of the season. And early going in the season means also that makes struggling late in the season as well.
Yeah, I think. And the word from down there is they weren't worried about Jordan leaving. And I coached Jordan Smith from 8 years old till he got to 6th grade, and then they moved him back to Groesbeck. And shout out to Al and his mom Val. They've done a great job to training and getting him into a better situation, because that's a situation down there where they could overuse him. And I don't want to speak that they did, but he kind of was banged up. It was kind of all they had. And overusing him, so you put him in a better situation. So great for them. They lost their line. None of the other guys really they're bringing back a running back, but the Hall kid. But what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like, some guys are going to have to step up that have been on varsity for 3 years but hadn't really touched the ball. So I mean, it's interesting to see what they do there. You're breaking in a new quarterback, and I never speak highly of the River. I'm friends with a bunch of them, but when it comes to football, like the Platt kid was a dude.
Yeah, he could go.
Like you want every kid on your football team to play the way that kid plays. And to lose that type of leadership, that type of toughness, it's going to be hard on him his first year.
Well, and let's talk about Coach Cordes. I have not met Coach Cordes, but I have heard nothing but good things about him. He was, and just going back and looking at old Texas Football Magazine, you're going to find that dude's name in there. He was a phenomenal high school athlete in Central Texas, and went on to play some ball in college. I think if he is able to put his mark early on this Groesbeck Goat team, could pay some easy early dividends. I mean, they have some games when you look at what they're going to start out with just in their schedule. They're going to get a tough Rogers team, then they're going to get a McGregor team that'll see Fairfield in a few weeks, then Centerville and Lexington. Guys, that's not a conducive lineup for a new coach of a young team to try to put all the pieces together, because that's a Lexington team that's a playoff. Centerville is a perennial playoff. Rockdale struggled last year, but was still in a position for the playoffs. And this is when Coach Bomar took them to 4-1, was to me an amazing. When I looked at that schedule and saw that they were 4-1, as if you're a Mahia, if you're Whitney, you're going, that's a pretty good way to go. And then they dropped to 5 district games.
Yeah.
But looking at what they're able to do, that's just a tough way to start out when you're having to fill all those gaps and and they may gel really quick.
Yeah.
And I hope that they do, because there's a Battle of the River game that I'm hoping that's going to be a pretty good one. I know y'all maybe not, but I mean, I'm hoping for the sake of our coverage, I hope that it's a good one. But I mean, it is going to be one of those where you can throw the records out. We know that.
Yeah.
But just are they able to fill those gaps and how quickly they can do it?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the schedule, because I was just fixing to point out how you said they started 4-1 last season. You look at the schedule, it might be flipped this year. I think they're
not
going to
beating
be
Lexington.
Yeah, no.
They beat them dudes.
Rogers is going to be solid. McGregor's going to be solid. Centerville, Lexington, we know how they are. Rockdale, they're always solid.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be a team that they're going to struggle. I think especially early, losing a kid like Jordan. I think it's going to take a few weeks to really try to figure out what our identity is offensively. Maybe that's something they do figure out by the time district gets here, and can like you said, maybe it'll be a good Battle of the River game. I don't know. I hope we go out there and beat them 64-0 every year.
Here's the question that I have, and then you guys probably are way more equipped to answer this than me. How much of the 5 losses for the Goats in district play is contributed to look at those first 2, Mahia and Grandview?
Yeah.
I think that probably was
I think we started
too
them off.
tough a way to start it. Yeah.
We came out and we kind of punched them in the mouth, and then I think Grandview kind of finished them off.
Yeah.
They almost beat Grandview.
Yeah, I was about to say, all those losses were pretty.
And
Jordan got hurt too, so he was out some for that.
I think they only lost by 4 or 5, something like that.
That's how the rest of their schedule went, didn't it?
They pushed Grandview.
They were right there with West,
They were
I think.
right there with West. Whitney, I think they
got away late on them.
It was close, and then Whitney pulled away late. I think it was like 70-35 or something like that.
Yeah.
Then Maypearl, I think, just by the time they got to that last week of the season, they were just
kind of
had no legs. Yeah.
Well, I met the new coach at the baseball game this year, and just talking with him, like he seems, and then talking with one of my buddies that coaches down there, like he's brung a new energy. I think, and not to, this is just opinion, I guess. I think Bomar was like really, really old school, and it didn't translate with the kids. Yeah. Just hearing some stuff that I'd heard and all that. So this guy's coming in bringing that new energy and all that. So it might trigger something, and they might come out and be totally different than what we assume or think they'll be. And that's great. If they're competitive and all that, fine. Like we've said it before, that first Battle of the River game when it came back and they beat us, that was actually a good thing for the overall rivalry.
For that year.
So long. Yeah.
Well, it's a phenomenal career for Jerry Bomar. I know it probably didn't end like he wanted it to end, losing the final 5 games of his career, but still, what a phenomenal career that he had with the state title in '91, and still playing, into the big schools and playing well. Had a young fellow that went on to play pretty good college ball as well. Yeah. But just a really nice career for him, and I hope that Coach Cordes has a nice time in his first year. I do think that's one of the teams that's going to struggle, and I hope they do gel quickly. But I do think that it's a time where they're going to struggle.
Yeah, they're going to have to find their identity quickly. Like
absolutely.
Rogers, they've run the flex bone, triple option stuff. McGregor just are what they are. Centerville, Lexington's loaded. Then they get Rockdale, that's always athletic.
Yeah.
And then you roll right into a really tough district. So, just watching them against Westwood in their scrimmage, just talking X and O's real quick. They ran some option. They kind of want to air the ball out a little bit. So I think they're just trying, right now, they're just trying to find out
See
what
what we're good at.
can we do? You
Yeah.
know, what is going to be our bread and butter this year? But they got to find it quickly.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that you mentioned when you go to the first two games, those two games that were home games that kind of did them in early, now they're road games.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is an even more challenging schedule. When you've got to go to, I know it's crossing a 12, 14-mile stretch and crossing the Navasota and bringing the sign or taking the sign with you. But this is not an easy place to play here for anybody. And then having to go to Grandview, which, we'll talk about the Black Cats here in a little bit, who went to Grandview and capped off a district championship. So those two teams right there, I think, are going to be the most challenge-heavy for this GOAT team and what they're going to try to
And
accomplish.
Grandview's no easy place to play.
No.
Like, it was just being there, like, and they won the state titles. Like, it was kind of like heavy on you. Like, it felt like that stadium felt heavy on you.
Yeah.
And as the game went on, it got tight, for us, and you just you could just feel the momentum shifting their way. It's one of there's nothing special about it. It's just, it felt different.
Yeah, I mean, I bet if you look it up, I know that Malakoff beat them there one year.
Yeah.
Besides us up there, probably not many that's beaten them
Probably
there
not,
in the
no.
last
I would
10 years.
bet, in 10, the last 10,
10.
I bet it's not over 10.
No.
I would bet the unders on that. But yeah, them dudes, like, and then you got to play West.
Well,
Who, like, I mean-
we'll get to them in a minute.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, then you got to play West. Whitney's not as physical, but they're going to run. It's a track meet with them.
Yeah.
Good luck, And then, like, by the time you get to Maypro, which we don't know Maypro what they're going to have this year, but like, I mean, you get us the rivalry. That'll take a lot out of you just because of what it is. You got Grandview and West back to back. They lean on you.
Mm-hmm.
Them dudes, they make you feel them.
Yeah.
So, we'll see about them. I hope they go 0-10. No, just kidding, man.
No, you're not.
No, it's good fun rivalry, man, with them dudes, like, and the people that I'm cool with down there and all that. So,
See, I wasn't instilled with that. I'm not from Groesbeck, so of course, seeing the kids come through the hallway and things like that, they've been instilled with it, but I'm still learning that. But
Yeah.
but I do think this is a Groesbeck team that needs to find something quickly, or it could be a long year for them.
For sure. Well, now we go north of the river.
The good side.
strong side.
The current home of the Navajo River Sun, and which it'll stay permanently. I'm sure of that. The Mejia Black Cats. The Mejia Black Cats, which, we got a lot of young guys that are going to have to step up this year, returning 4 on offense, 3 on defense, after losing a very senior-heavy class. 6-5 overall, 5 district finalists, and 4-1 district, and winning District 5 3A. And we've been talking about Black Cats for the last 5-6 episodes now. Hopefully we get Scott's outside take on the Black Cats as we get in.
Oh, so I'm inside the hall, but it's an outside take.
Yeah,
Right?
it-
Oh, okay.
You got to humble us with your
Is that what it is?
realisticness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need you to bring us back down
Yeah, bring
here.
us back down to earth.
Well, first of all, I think that this is, with Coach Nell and the personality of him and his team, very similar to what we talked about Coach Linscomb. I mean, and I don't know, and again, you guys that are in this field house know better than I do. I think we actually saw what the coaching staff was capable of when they had the death of Micah last year. They rallied the troops, they had everything, and this is a question, and if Coach Now's watching, okay, they might get ready for this when we
better be.
when we tape a coach's show here in a day or two. I think one of the questions that you have to ask is, how do you get that motivation from last year back for 2025? I mean, it was obvious that was a team that was focused,
Yeah.
a team that came ready to play, a team that maybe not necessarily before then was that focused, that had some challenges. But man, when you had them all in one direction, A, they're fast. B, they're fast. And they swarmed to the ball and got after everybody. So I think that this Mejia team has a tendency and has an option of being really, really, really talented. I think that Dave Campbell's Texas football missed it again. I don't know that you don't give the reigning district champion the love by picking them fourth. Does that make sense, y'all? I mean,
Makes sense to
I'm
me.
supposed to humble y'all, but I don't know. I don't think I'm.
Yeah, you're supposed to bring us down.
Oh, I'm supposed to humble you, but I'm not so sure that I'm doing that, am I? No, I just don't know that you give the district champion that kind of lack of respect. I think they're better than that.
Yeah.
I do think that the other teams are very good. I mean, I think that Grandview's picked to win this district because of their reputation. And I think that they will rally the troops and be good again. But, I say a champion's a champion until you say they're not. And right now, I would say that this Mejia team is poised for another district championship, plus the fact that this Grandview team's got to come to Black Cat Stadium and win. And I don't know that inside that stadium and inside that old gym over there is the best place to try to take down a Black Cat team. It ain't going to happen.
I think, we watched some 2 scrimmages now. There's still a lot that we got to get fixed. And I think our mindset, too, I know mine is I just want to see us compete every week. And then when we get to district, we found our guys that they've grown. We know what we want to do. We have the best running back in the district by far. We have guys that didn't. Yeah, again, we have guys that'll fly around to the football. They just got to get out there and play more. I'm excited, man. Quarterback play will only get better. He's a little more dynamic in the run game. It's going to be interesting to see. I don't know. Grandview brought back a lot. Like, they brought back pretty much everybody. Realistic in me, I don't know if we could take them down this year. I think we can. It's going to be tough. The Mejia in me, baby, we're going 10-0. We're going state, baby.
Well, and I think, and answer this too, Wes. I mean, you've seen this team. And y'all have seen this team play more than I have even, but I think the intangible is Stephen Miles. I think how he goes, how he ticks is how this offense is going to go.
For sure.
Now I don't know, and a question that I would have for Coach Harrison, probably not on the mic, maybe a little bit later in the week, would be, does this Black Cat team fit the scheme of the people that they're playing with, or do they change the scheme to fit the people that they're playing with? Because last year they were a little bit more pass heavy. You had Kyron Bedford, you had those guys that could get it and go vertical. Now you've got a quarterback that's kind of a youngster that's going to be maybe not flinging it around quite as much, but you've got a hard-nosed, fast runner that can get those hard yards and finish a run. And if you keep him healthy, I think he's the intangible that makes this Black Cat team go.
I agree, man. That I don't know. I don't even know how to put it into words. Like how on top I am coming into this season. Like my bold prediction in a couple episodes was that he breaks the single season rushing record for Mejia this year.
Wow,
and,
that's big numbers.
It is, and that's a hard thing to do. But man, just especially how he's looked in these 2 scrimmages, like you see he is 100% capable of doing that. How many carries did he have in the Buffalo scrimmage?
5. He had 5 for 144.
5 for 144. And I'm telling you, Scott, by the time he got to his 3rd touch, Buffalo didn't want any part of him anymore. Like that is a kid. We talked about Tig being physical and like how you have to match it. You better be able to match Stephen Miles with physicality, or you're gonna end up on the ground. Like, I don't know. Like you said, I think the season goes as he goes.
And he does. And this is the sad part about it. He just doesn't have a whole lot of varsity experience because he's been injured a lot.
Right.
He did look injured in the 2 scrimmages and the highlights I saw. He looks mid-season form, and Westwood better figure out how to tackle him.
Yeah, because going into last season, he was supposed to be the feature back that we were going to see, and you didn't really get to see it. He got banged up really early in the season. ended up only playing
A game and a
two.
half.
I'm about to say 2 full games for us. So luckily, Bird stepped in and he did every bit of what was expected out of the running backs of Mejia. But now we see it this year. We see it, and not just him, man. I think yes, we lost KB, but
we got a guy.
yes, I think we're gonna have some receivers that are definitely gonna maybe not be as focused on one player in the passing game as we were last year. I think it's going to kind of spread around this year. Just off the top of my head, Kel Collins and the Molina twins, they have looked really good in these scrimmages as well. Like I said, I think we're going to be a run first team, but when we do need to throw, those 3 guys right there, they look like they're going to be able to answer the call. I'm just excited. Offensively, I'm really excited. Defensively, I think defense is going to be one of those things that
We're going to figure it out.
yeah, and it hasn't looked bad, but it's just you talk about finding an identity on offense. It's the same thing on defense. You got to figure out like what are we going to be as a defense. I think that could take us a couple weeks to kind of figure out, but I do think they'll figure it out, especially by the time district rolls around. And like you, Scott, I don't see any reason why Mejia cannot be competing for a district title
Absolutely.
when it comes to that last week of the regular season.
Well, and I think I'm going to play devil's advocate here, because I do think defensively we'll see more shine out of Mejia the first 2 weeks, for the simple reason I do think the strength is that secondary, and you're going to get 2 air raid offenses coming in. You're going to get Westwood and Fairfield, and if you get an opportunity to pick them, then you're going to have that. You're going to take that. I know that they graduated. Bedford was one of the safeties, and then and some corner. That was a very senior heavy group, but they are returning an athletic secondary, and we saw them. We saw Ferris try to air it out in this first scrimmage, but sometimes when they underthrew that, there was a black jersey that was right there ready and waiting to get it and knock it down or pick it, and I think here, and agree to disagree, gentlemen, I think that Kel Collins is that intangible. He's almost like a rover. You can put him in, and strategically that may not be the right terminology, right, Coach Harrison? But I've told y'all I'm a student of the game, but I'm a C student, right? So anyway, but I do think he almost, if you put the ball in the air, he's going to go get it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to make this a strength of the team. Now, is it going to be a shootout? Possibly.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be an opportunity where if they get a couple of stops, they're going to win the ball game.
We're going to grow. They're going to get the opportunity to grow quickly. Those guys that haven't played a lot, but are like our other corner. Like Kel's going to play this corner. Our other corner where Roy and the Gowan boys, Roy and Ryland, have played some. They're going to get to see some. They're going to get to see it quick. And Roy and Ryland have both had 2 good scrimmages. They both grown. I felt as both scrimmages went on, they got better as the game flow went. Our pass rush, they got to stay after it. Depth, I think, is our issue this year.
Absolutely.
So we're on that 1 injury away or 2 injury away type deal. So my main thing though has just been, let's stay healthy, let's get better each week, and let's get the district and make a run at this thing. And I think we can. But yeah, first 2 weeks, our DBs better have it strapped up and ready, because they're going to throw the football.
Yeah.
Then we won't need them week 3.
Yeah. Then everybody else, hey, get your track shoes on week 1 and week 2. Week 3, you better bring your thumper, because
Man, it's just, I don't know. I'm excited. It was our very first episode back of the summer, and I don't know about y'all, but my tone then was like, I don't think we'll be bad, but I think, there's going to be some growing pains. There's a lot of young guys stepping in. I feel like my tone is starting to shift. These scrimmages have gone better than I would expected, I would say. So you talk about growing quick. I think that can happen for us. I'm more excited now than I was that first episode.
Yeah.
Just being honest, it's looked good to me. Like,
We have the potential.
yeah, yeah, right. The most dangerous word in sports.
Yeah,
The
we have-
potential is there.
Well, that's well said.
I hate that word.
Yeah, we if the kids will buy in, and that's like, we talked when Case was on, and now as well. Dude, the mindset y'all are bringing, if they just gravitate to that,
Absolutely.
because y'all have a lot of players that played together, or some that came after that won district championships here. Some of these kids that have came back won a district championship last year. So the mindset is there. Y'all have had great energy at practice as far as coaching these guys up. It's been way more disciplined. Like, y'all are after them about mental mistakes and stuff like that. If the boys will just buy in, we can do something special. Now, if they don't, and they want to do things their way, this thing could go south quickly. But y'all, the potential is there, and I know, like, y'all hate it. The potential is there for us to go and compete for another district championship.
It is, man. They got the T-shirts that say "Beat
Yep.
the standard." I think the standard is set now. You've got
Yep.
what, year 5 coach now.
Yep.
You coming fresh off a district title, like it's there.
And just look at our program overall.
Right.
Like, we have
Success breeds success.
We're-
Absolutely.
We're back to 3 teams,
Right.
2 for sub-varsity. They said the junior high numbers are up tremendously. That right there that's what you talk about being the standard and all that. Like, now has grown so much as a head coach over the last few years. And I think last year, like we said, and I hate keep opening up this old scar, this old wound with Micah, but that really, really helped him grow as a head coach, I think, and the kids to buy in with him, and like I told him, I saluted him because he was the face of that thing
Absolutely.
as far as our athletic program, and it had to handle that head on, and they don't teach you that anywhere, to handle that. And I thought he did well, and I think ever since that Grosbeck game, our program shifted. Like,
Yeah.
from the, not just on the field, like in the weight room this summer. Like, this summer was probably some of our better numbers, like kids buying in and stuff. So, like I said, I was a little optimistic. I still am slightly, but like I said, we have the potential to go out and win a district championship this year. Stay healthy, buy in, and keep working, man. Because
Yeah,
our non-district schedule is not easy.
Yeah.
Not at all.
It's not, but I think it very mirrors our district. Like, you just look.
Like I said, I've said that,
Like,
yeah.
Westwood, Fairfield. That's gonna be really what Whitney.
That's Whitney.
That's Whitney.
Yep.
Gatesville to me is gonna be probably like
West Grandview.
I would say West.
West Grandview.
Yep.
Tig's gonna be just
Yep.
like West. Cameron Hill is probably more like Maypearl as far as what they do schematically.
Right.
So, like, what we see in non-district directly mirrors what we see in district. So
Yeah.
Well,
we're
and
definitely be prepared.
Yeah.
And I think that, I think that, when you're talking about that scar that keeps getting opened up. I think that is what it is. But the thing is I think that this team has to figure out a way to channel that without having that incident happen.
Yeah.
And if they're able to do that, if they're able to focus and get that, I think this Black Cat team, the only way they can go is just skyrocket high.
Yeah.
But I do think that once they, hats off to Coach Now. I mean, he put us together a schedule that's 2 years running.
Yeah.
In a realignment year, and 2 teams that are going to be challengers in the first 5 weeks. I mean, Cameron was the one that struggled last year, but still, they gave Mahia a little bit of a run there for a while. But Teague, Gatesville, Fairfield, Westwood, there is not a week off for this Black Hat team.
No.
Period. End of story until you get to October 3rd when it says open.
Yeah. I think-
You've
and
got to
too,
be ready to go.
We talk about them finding that thing to push them over. I think one thing that this group this year does a really good job, they all hang out. They'll have like team get-togethers and all that. Like, they are fine. Like, they are really close. And I think that helps on the field too, because when you're playing for someone else, you're going to play really, really hard.
Well, and this is a generation of kids, of course, I mean, you can take away the state laws that we've already got,
Yeah.
and I say, I walk the halls, Coach Harrison walks the halls, you walk the halls in
Yeah.
yours, not necessarily on your campus,
Right.
but on our campus, I've seen more eyeballs and foreheads than I've ever seen in my entire career.
Yeah.
And I think that tends to maybe bore a kid, but it focuses them more on what
Yeah.
that task is at hand. Of course, I'm the funny thing is I hear kids go, have to talk to everybody at lunchtime.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what a terrible thing to have to do that. But I think though, being able to say, okay, talk to somebody and have them listen,
Yeah.
I think is huge, and I think that's only going to go up. I've said this before, that stadium right outside the door and that gymnasium are two places where success happens at Mahia High School.
Yeah.
And right now, those are two places, and I'm going to ask you guys the same question I did in 9-3A Division II. Who do you not want to face in Week 10 and 11? To me, one of the ones is Mahia.
Grandview
Without
found out last
question.
year.
Yeah, if the season goes how I think it goes, I feel like Mahia, Grandview, definitely the teams you don't want to see. I don't know, man. Just to sum up my words on it, I'm excited, and I think this year is it could be a year of. Last year we won the district title. I think that senior class kind of like set the standard in place of what this can be. I think this year is going to be crucial on really like setting that culture of, hey, if we can do it back to back,
Yeah.
like what's stopping these kids in junior high from thinking the next 5 years that they're
Right.
playing that why can't we win a district title no matter who we're playing?
I'll say this, those boys in that locker room right now, they don't lack confidence. You can't tell them nothing. Like, they think they're going to go 10-0. And they're not just saying it. I'm realistic. We're not going to go 10-0. But they think they can win every ball game that they're going to play in. And
That's half the battle sometimes,
Yep.
just getting kids to believe.
I think last year, those kids, as they played, kind of had to build that.
They figured out,
Yeah.
they were so young, getting on the varsity level, didn't
Yeah.
have much success, so they had to learn, on the
Right.
fly, how to win.
Yes.
Now, this group has now seen success.
Yep.
They know what it looks like, so those guys coming back, that's huge for
They just got
them.
to bring the intensity.
Yeah.
Like, they gotta understand. Okay, yeah, you can feel this way, but you got to translate that to the field. But they don't lack confidence. Like, and I'm gonna tell you, the identity that Kill Collins brings, a lot of those kids, like, that is one confident kid.
To say the least.
Yeah, and that is how 90% of those kids are starting to. They are confident, man. Like, I'm better than you. I'm better than the person in front of me. I'm about to wear your ass out all game. So we'll see, man.
And here's I think if you look at now, and then what I did to get ready to visit with you guys today is you take things in a 3-week stretch. Now, I know that the person on the far left is not going to say anything about a 3-week stretch. He's not even going to respond to that because he's going to give us the coach speak of one game at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, but all the rest of us can play along, right? Okay.
Yeah, we get to do that.
So let's play along. A 3-week stretch, and I think that if you go 2-1 during that 3-week stretch, you're going to show that you're a good team. For Grandview, I think it's Conley, Malakoff, and Spring Hill in the non-district schedule. I think those three right there are going to prove whether or not they're going to be on the map to success. For the Black Cats, I think it's Fairfield, Gatesville, Teague. Then I think you can almost go a 4-week stretch and chunk Westwood in there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a 4-week stretch. You split those two, you go 3-1, this Black Cat team's going to be pretty good. For Whitney, and I think Whitney's going to be one of those that's going to factor into those top 3 spots. Their spots are going to be, once they get into district, it's going to be a Grandview, Maypearl, Mahia 3-week period. Because they're on the road for 4 straight weeks to Benbrook, Hillsborough, Rogers, and Academy. They return home for the first 2 games of district play, and I think Grandview, Maypearl, Mahia is their 3-week stretch. If they go 2-1 there, they're a bona fide playoff team.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. They go 1-2, they're going to sit in that 3rd spot because they're going to get the top 2 in the district. So I think that when you look at those, and like I said, Coach Harrison is exempt from this. But if you look at that 3-week stretch, if you get 2 of those 3, you're going to be a pretty good team.
I'll be feeling real good.
Yeah. If we go into district 4-1, 3-2.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Like Westwood. Like we played Westwood last year. They beat us 70-49.
Yeah.
Scored 49 points. So we were like, hey, we're not bad. We
Yeah, we
we're not bad. Hey,
Yeah.
Then we go beat Fairfield. Then and our buddies might disagree. If Top Miles is healthy against Tig, we beat Tig last year, I think.
I think people forget what he did to Tig 2 years ago.
All right. We smacked Cameron. So, realistically,
And man, you're forgetting Gatesville in there.
Yeah,
that was a pretty.
man, Gatesville just leaned on us, man.
do,
All
but
the game long.
Yes.
I never want to say we tapped out. But
Man,
by
I don't
the
think
fourth
we
quarter,
did.
we were kind of like, hey, let's just get out of this game.
But
Like,
to
let's
me, when you think back to that game, we had our chances.
We did. Yeah.
Like there were plenty of chances to go out
in
there and win that game.
Late in that third, though, it was kind of like, hey, let's just get out of here healthy.
Yeah.
Like we competed, we played. But
We pulled top.
See, I was about to say,
Yeah,
I think that was one of the games he had to come out.
That was the last time he played last year was Gatesville. We pulled him already, and it just kind of, hey,
yeah.
Yeah.
we got to get to week 4. We can
Yeah, that you never want to duck anybody.
No.
That game is just for how they're built and how we're built. It just the matchup isn't in our favor in that one. Are we more athletic? Yeah, but they just lean on you, man.
But how cool is that to get the multiple style of offenses
Yeah.
that Mahia's going to see? They're going to have to
Great
react to
schedule
them.
put
It's a
together.
terrific,
Yeah.
terrifically
Our
diverse
non-district
schedule.
Yeah,
Well, I
it's
say it all the time. I think the toughest coaching job for anybody is small school football. Because you're going
Oh,
to
no
see
doubt.
every offense and every
Yeah.
defense under the sun in a span of 11 weeks.
thank God we don't see that flex wing tee.
Wing
crap,
tee,
man.
flat tee,
Well-
flex bone, like we don't see any of that.
The year we played Salado with Abram and we ran it. The game lasted like an hour and
Yeah.
45 minutes. Like we were done at like 9:45.
Well, and the cool thing about it, though, and I mean, and I say it's cool, but it's a challenge to the guys in the field house, is you're going to have to get a Westwood team on Friday night based on 2 scrimmages.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get Fairfield based on 1 scrimmage and a game and a live game.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, those first 2 weeks is the most challenging for the coaching staff. And then you start to get a bigger sample size. You get an opportunity to see what they're actually going to be, and I think that those are games which are going to be the challenge. But again, this Black Cat team, I think, is ready for the challenge.
The thing that I don't worry about, and like I said, my biggest thing is just getting better every week and getting the district healthy. As long as we compete, our kids, we could go 0-5 in non-district. Our kids, they have that. Their mindset is so they are good. It ain't gonna matter. Like they wash stuff quickly. Like if we lose to Westwood week 1, they're not gonna care Saturday. All right, whatever. Like
On to the next.
Yeah. So I mean, and we are. I think we're really locked in, man. Like we are really, we have the mindset. Like I said, it's just got to translate to that field on Friday night.
Okay, now for Texas football again, I think these ain't the only districts where I'm saying that they got them wrong. But anyway,
I think you've said they've got every district wrong
I'm not.
so far.
There's not any of the ones in our area that they got right. Okay, I'm just telling you. So, but
Send them an email.
But-
What do you mean? They're at every single district game. They see every single
They
team
see
around
all
here.
of them, and they have everybody that's returning. They know everything about it. This dude's not even printed in Texas anymore, and they call it Texas football. But that's a whole nother story. But no, I do think that this Black Cat team is poised and ready for a district championship. They are champions until you say they're not. I'm going to put Mahale 1. I am going to put Grandview 2, West 3, Whitney 4. That's the way I've got the top
That
4.
bring you down enough, Delio?
No, Scott, you did not do your job.
I'm really sorry, DeLeo. I mean, I didn't know I was supposed to
he
humble
just,
everybody.
Like maybe flip us and West or
No.
us and Whitney.
Let's come in here saying we're top dog.
And y'all didn't pay anything more for me to say that either. So
But he has a point. What does Ric Flair say?
Be the man, you got to beat the man.
And who's the man right now in the district?
that's
man.
absolutely true.
So
I think
You like my 4 or not? Well, I mean,
I love it.
theoretically, but
I
I
think-
think on paper, I do think that that's a
See,
possibility.
I don't think we'll lose to Grandview. I think the West game is the one that scares me.
yeah.
So,
Well, if it's like last year, that's all right.
you know what? I'm going to be a homer. We're winning district. Grandview 2nd, Whitney 3rd, West 4th.
I'm sorry I couldn't humble you guys. I really am.
West
I
4th.
apologize.
I will say I think this year in District 5, there is no 5.
Maypearl's
There is no 5-team race like last year.
Oh, I don't think so.
I think it's Grandview, Whitney, West Bahia, and then
I think Groesbeck and Maypearl are on the outside
There's a
looking.
big gap between those four and the last two. Rather than like last year, we had Maypearl and West battling for that fourth spot. Obviously, West got out, Maypearl was in, so.
If West had two dudes on offense, just two, they probably win
I
district
think they're
last year.
changing some stuff up, so I'm eager to see
Yeah.
what they look like.
Well, see, and
Their defense was well, we say that, and then, what was it, Groesbeck put up like 40 on them?
It was like 35 to something.
Well, see, in the 2 slot, Mejia travels to West, and then they get Whitney at home and Grandview at home. Guys, those are 2 huge district games at Black Cat Stadium. No question about it. Getting them to drive all the way down Highway 22, Highway 31, 35, however they're coming, doesn't matter to me, whatever their Google Map says, this is not an easy trip to come in here and say that I'm going to go pull a W at that stadium. I'm just saying.
I think, look at our home slate. You have Fairfield and Tig, Groesbeck, so you get all 3 of your, close rivals at home.
Correct.
And the 2 quote-unquote best teams in the district, Whitney and Grandview, also at home. I mean, I don't know if you could ask for a better home slate than that.
It's stacked for us.
I think so.
It's stacked.
And
I just don't know enough about Maypearl. Like, they were decent last year, they lost a lot, they had new head coach.
They had to lie to Dave Campbell, or Dave Campbell misprinted.
Yeah.
Because they did not, it says they brought back like 6 on offense and 6 on defense. Like, no.
They were senior heavy.
They were really senior heavy. I think they only had, I counted 3 on offense and 2 on defense.
Yeah.
Like, they lost a lot.
Yeah.
Well, and Maypearl, and of course, looking at what Maypearl's going to have, and I think this is the reason we saw, we mentioned why Maypearl and Groesbeck bowed out of the district race early. We saw that that Groesbeck took on Mejia and Grandview the first 2 weeks. Look at Maypearl's schedule. After the open week on the 3rd, they host West, go to Whitney, host Grandview, host Mejia. If that's not murderer's row, I don't know what is. So, I mean, I just think, and for you guys that are paying attention to this, I do think the way the schedule stacks up depends on how your success is going to match. Because you get a chance to get on a roll, you get a couple of wins under your belt, you went on the road a couple of times. I do think that you have to take those things into consideration when you start pulling wins and losses. Where you go and play those games is huge.
Yeah. I mean, I like, just looking at it, and you made a great point with Tig earlier, is, out of that district, I think a lot of what happens depends on Tig. And
Yes.
how that shakes out. I think we know what we are, how good we can be. I don't think outsiders do, but I think we're the team that determines a lot in this district.
Yeah.
Like what our success is. So, man, it's here. Days away. I think DeLeo got us a real quick pick sheet to run through.
Cooked a little something up for you.
Scott's our first guest speaker.
Oh, my, really?
Yeah.
So we'll run through this as we wrap up the show. So we got, first off, 6A Dallas Jesuit at 6A Hebron, a.k.a. Wes's Hawks.
Bring the wood, baby.
Man, I'll start it off. I'll go, Wes, how good's Hebron gonna be? I'm gonna go Hebron.
They've lost a lot. Hebron's one of those, they're gonna graduate a lot every year, but then they bring some back. They got 2 good running backs. They have a receiver, can't remember his name, that might be transitioning to quarterback. Of course, their quarterback, Patrick Creighton Jr., is at Rice. They're just in that area, man, where there's so much good around them. Like it's they took South Lake Carroll to the brink last year and had a chance to beat them. I'm gonna go Hebron for this one though.
I don't know. Jesuit's probably the best team that doesn't have residence restrictions. I will say Hebron as well.
Yeah, honestly, this game wasn't even on the lineup, but Wes asked if they could be on here, so I threw them in there for Wes.
Rank, baby.
So I'm gonna go with Hebron.
All right. 6A, number 15, Denton Geyer travels to 5A D1 Alito.
This is also going to be on one y'all will see this week, man. Just so you know, I think that might show up on there.
Man, I'm picking Alito. Like, Geyer's good, but
Me too.
it's Alito.
Yeah,
Me
it's,
too. I think Alito starts out well.
you know, you see the 6A, number 15, you think, 5A's not beating them, but Alito's not your typical 5A when it comes to beating the schools that are bigger than them.
There was
By the way, on a snapshot that will remain toward the end of the year, we highlight the counties that have the most state championships, and Alito County is in that list.
There you go.
Shocker.
It ain't Alito County, but it might as well be because they have 12 and Brock has the other one.
Yeah.
Panola County on that list as
There
well.
was
County dog.
there was a guy on our Pick'em show through the radio last year that was like, "Hey, guy, 6A, they'll beat 5A Alito," and he got that game wrong.
Who's that, Scott?
That guy was me.
Hey, but it wasn't the only one you got wrong. There was a whole lot more that went along with it, right?
Last year I was just picking when we would get there. Like, I just enjoyed being there. I'm ready. I'm prepared. This
Oh
year.
my, okay.
We're good. I'm going to Alito as well, though.
Yeah, I'm going to Alito.
Him and Kevin Benedict are just going to copy off each other's sheets.
That's it.
I
That'll
got
work.
it. All right. Next up, 6A, number 21, Waxahachie at 5A, D2 Ennis. Big rivalry right here. Man, I think Waxahachie is loaded this year.
By a mile.
So give me the Indians.
I think you're going to see one of the weaker Ennis teams you've seen in a long, long time coming up this year. Waxahachie huge.
Yeah, I'm going with the Indians as well.
Jordan Smith and Juji are going to have great games. Wish they were in red and black.
Yep. All right. Big one right here to start off. Man, what a week one game right here. 4A D2 number 1 Carthage versus 4A D1 number 3 Kilgore. Battle of the Dogs. Man, I've heard, and I'm going to say this on Wednesday at our pick show, this is the best team Carthage has ever had.
And that's scary.
And that is saying something. Like the amount of power forward players they have on this team.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're up to 6. Give me the Dogs. Carthage.
And the sad part about it is there were a lot of those guys that played in the game last year, and Kilgore got them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it ain't gonna happen twice. Give me Carthage.
Yeah, I don't ever bet against
Ain't
the
gonna
Panola
happen.
County Dogs. Give
Yeah,
me Carthage.
what did they say? Lightning don't hit twice in the same place. That's what would happen.
It's going to be closer than I think people think.
Do it, Wes. Do it.
I am not. I'm going Carthage.
Paired this year. All right. 4A D2 number 13 Cuero at 3A D1 Columbus
My
ranked.
God,
Number
the
one.
layout.
Number
Number
1
one.
Columbus. Dang,
You did
left
not
off-
do us any
Hey,
favors with this pick sheet.
I try to make it tough. Try to make it tough.
You trying to take Scott's job on the radio?
No, this one will not appear on this week's sheet because I don't know that Columbus is going to be as loaded as they were. Remember, their best players in Wisconsin.
Yes. And they're bringing in a new. They lost Schobel, but replaces him with Schobel.
Well, true.
So
Yeah, but they lost the other Schobel.
The other
Yes,
Schobel.
they did.
They
Yeah.
lost the running back. He is at Arizona State. So
Yeah.
they do have a receiver that came back, but I'm
do.
going to go Cuero.
I'm also going to go Cuero.
I'm gonna go Cuero as
Until
well.
I figure out how good Columbus is, and they're a question mark, I'm going to go Cuero.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Cuero as well.
Yeah, give me the Gobblers.
What did we say? You're the champ until somebody beats you.
Yeah, and I think they get beat.
They
And
get
well,
beat.
and their district's not
By a
going.
4A team though, but not.
Their district's not going to give Columbus's district not going to do them any favors either. That's not a very strong district they're going to be coming out of.
Yeah.
Big old 4A picking on a little old 3A like that.
All right, another 4A 3A matchup. 4A D2 number 14 Glen Rose at 3A D2 number 19 and district mate Grandview. Man, Glen Rose and Grandview's game last year was not close. I think it happens again. Even if it's at Grandview, I like Glen Rose and what they have.
I do too. I think that Grandview didn't do themselves any favors by scheduling, but I think they scheduled over the top teams that are going to be better. That's an Eagle Mountain team coming in next week. The week after, that's pretty stout too. But I think the old Tigers get the Zebras in this one. It is the battle of the Safari there, and the Safari wins.
I got Glen Rose.
I'm going Glen Rose as well.
All right, 4A D2 China Spring at 3A D1 number 2 Franklin, which to me is the number 1 team in 3A after laying eyes on them. Man, watch out for the Franklin Lions. They are for real.
They don't have 5A numbers on the sideline, but they look like a 5A football
Massive.
team.
Cat fight, give me
God.
Franklin.
Yeah, China Spring was down last year. They went 2-8, I believe. I think they'll be better this year, but man, like y'all just said, we got to see Franklin up close and personal in that first scrimmage against Westwood, and I don't really see a team that's going to knock them off in 3A this year for that title. Give me Franklin.
You lose a Division I running back, and you come back more loaded the next year.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Sometimes that's a little bit crazy, isn't it?
All right, 4A D2, number 18, Robinson at 3A D1 West. I believe this game went down to the wire last year.
Did?
Robinson pulled that one out?
They did.
They did. Man, I like this Robinson team. Like, they were good last year. They bring back dang near everybody. That quarterback is really, really good. Give me the Rockets on the road.
I think Robinson's better than the number 18 team in 4A D2. I think they are poised to have a great year. They have a quarterback that is a stud, good running back. I got Robinson.
I think West, to me, still is unproven. Until they prove that they're able to beat a team that's larger than they are, to me, it's not even going to put themselves on the map in the district race at this point. I think that you've got to go out there and win that one. I think it's the Rockets who are going to win this one.
Give me the Rockets.
Blast off.
All right, now we move back into our local teams that we just covered. 2A D1 Valley Mills at 2A D2 Wortham in the wall over in Wortham, America.
Well, Wortham, America, it's going to be under the lights. Valley Mills brings in a 225-pound running back that will flat run over anybody in his way. Wortham had trouble stopping him last year, even though the Bulldogs didn't win that one. I think it's going to be a long night. We said this in the outset. The Bulldogs are trying to find their own identity. I don't think they get it done this time. I'm going to take Valley Mills.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. I think Wortham's got some stuff figured out, get some holes filled here and there. Give me Valley Mills.
Scott is not confident at all in his Bulldogs this year, and neither am I. I'm going to go with Valley Mills.
I'm going with Valley Mills as well.
All right, 3A D2 Rogers at the Palace in Groesbeck.
Rogers.
Do we even got to ask?
This is Nelson Cordes, his first game as head coach to Groesbeck, gets to take on his alma mater in this one. He won state way back in 98, 99.
I think they lost that game. I saw that interview with them. I think they said they lost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know he went to state with them, but yeah, I think Rogers too much. Give me Rogers.
I'll take them as this. I think this is a Rogers team that I think is going to be pretty good. They're not in a terribly strong district either, so they're going to need to pull some wins early as well to kind of put themselves in the driver's seat in that district. And I think we've covered Groesbeck pretty well. I think they're going to struggle to begin with, and I think Rogers is going to be one of those that's going to give them a struggle. Give me the Eagles.
Yep, give me Rogers. Wes, you don't even want to say it.
I already did.
He did. Groesbeck.
There's not a world that we live in that I would ever pick Groesbeck to win a football game. So,
all right. All right, we got 3A D1 Maypearl at 3A D1 number 20 Fairfield. Man, what Maypearl lost, I know last year was a bit of a close game. I don't think this year is. Give me the Eagles.
Yeah, I think this one, it went, 1 or 2 overtimes last year?
It did. 41-34 overtime. Yeah.
I think this one can get pretty ugly this year. Give me Fairfield.
Well, I think what you're going to hear is the air raid sirens going off at Eagles Stadium. I think that they're going to. This is going to be an opportunity where they find out they can throw early and often and successfully. Give me Fairfield.
I got Fairfield.
We got 3AD2 New Waverly at 3AD1 TIG. I think the Lions get it done without having to play in that mud slot fest they had last year.
Oh my goodness.
Give me the Lions.
I'm going with the Lions as well.
I think that's the only time they were on natural surface all year, wasn't it?
I think so.
And it was not natural. It was very unnatural. I will take TIG.
I got TIG.
All right. And then 3AD1, number 14, Westwood hosts 3AD1 Mahia. Man, this was firework factory last year's shootout. I believe it was 70-49, whatever it was. Man, we got work cut out for us this week. But I like our matchup. I think we're a lot better up front in the trenches. I mean, you've got Stephen Miles that can just control a game by himself. Give me the Black Cats.
Yeah, we went and watched Westwood and Franklin scrimmage each other last week. Obviously, we just told y'all how good we think Franklin is, so they'll obviously make anybody look average or bad. But I don't think this Westwood team is going to be as good as they were last year. They're still going to be tough. I mean, they got the number 1 quarterback in the nation in his class. The key to this game is going to be how well do we contain Bryant. If we can do that, I don't think they'll have enough to really. I don't know. It's going to go through him. If you can contain him, I don't think they have enough to beat you. You've got to limit the Bryant kid. I'm going to go out there and say that we get it done this week. We pull it off close over in the Wood.
I don't know that it's a matter of containing Bryant. I think it's just a matter if you get 2 stops. I mean, you get 2 stops and then score, you win the ball game. I mean, that's not an easy place to go win. They have proven that they can play well over there. But I think this is a Black Cat team that's going in pretty confident, and they're going to need Kavion Bryant seeing some stars, laying on his backside, looking up and seeing stars. And if they do that Black Cat team defense does that, they're going to win the ball game. I'm going to pick this as a total shootout. I think this has the potential of 130, 140 points in the game scored, just like it was 129 last year. I don't know that there's going to be a whole lot of D in this one.
Yeah.
Give me my hat.
I'm still 50-50 on this one because in our 2 scrimmages we hadn't seen the athletes yet that Westwood will have. My biggest thing was, can we get a pass rush on Bryant and then we control the clock? Watching Top run, we might have the mindset of we're going to control the clock, and then he just break one and we give the ball right back to him. If we can get a pass rush on him, we can contain him. Franklin did a really good job of blitzing him backside, and it seemed like he struggled a little bit feeling that backside pressure. So if we can get after him a little bit, get him frustrated and all that, because where they're really good at is their best plays were broken plays where he's scrambling around and somebody gets behind somebody, because the secondary can only guard someone for so long. We can get a pass rush. We can run the football, which I think we'll be able to do that really well. A couple big plays here. I'm like Scott. I think it's going to be a shootout. I got us beating them, man. I think our kids' confidence is high. I think we can go over there and get it done. So I got the Black Cats.
Yeah, so exciting times, man. We're finally here. We've been counting it down since November last year. Getting back out the Black Cat field, getting on the road to away games. I'm fired up. I know these guys are. Man, Scott, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy Saturday to come talk with us, talk some football.
Well, I've got to write a preview for the paper, so y'all just help me out with that.
There we go.
Perfect.
Hey, I had a really good podcast name for you if you started your own podcast.
Is that right?
With you being from Wortham and all that. You could call it Behind the Wall.
Good, yeah.
You could. That'd be all right. I'd be a guest on it.
Would you? Yeah.
I think he's got to ask you to be a guest.
Yeah, I don't think that would be a question, since I'll be seeing y'all again next week. It's been a blast. Thank y'all for inviting me. I hope it's the first of at least maybe a few more with you. But but it is time to go. It is time to see what these teams can do. There's no more 15 and 15s. Let's run the clock and get after it.
Yep.
That it is. Man, thanks for sticking with us. I know it's a longer episode, but we want to definitely highlight our local teams, just, get our thoughts on each of them. Appreciate y'all. Make sure you are sharing our stuff on Facebook. We're on TikTok now, so make sure, I know we're blowing up on there now. I think Wes got into it a little bit on some comments, but fun times.
Just a couple of emojis and all that.
Just laughing emojis. But appreciate y'all watching. As always, I'm Landry.
I'm DeLeo.
Wes.
And I'm Scott, yeah. I just- guess I better figure this out. huh?
This has been the Water Tower Podcast.
Out of here.